talking about the relationship between vaccination and autism, and of course it's been so well worn scientifically now that seems to be completely dispelled at a scientific level. But the story lingers with people. It doesn't matter so much what the facts are, the facts that as we think of them. The story itself is powerful. So what we tend to do then is we tend to, it's the what they call the deficit model in science communication. Then it reinforces this notion that the unwashed are in a knowledge deficit and an intellectual deficit, and part of the job of science communication, of the science community, and I would include the bioethics community in that, is to help the great unwashed masses to prepare to receive the truth. And of course, as elements of that, it's probably better that people understand that there is a decent evidence base that shows that there isn't any plausible connection between autism and vaccination. But the underlying problems actually haven't been dealt with. If you're a mother and you hear that story and there's some concern about vaccination, and you're a friend, we know, say, from social network theory, it's going to be much more powerful, the influence about what your neighbors and your friends and your close circle and your network are doing than what a New England Journal or a Lancet or a Nature paper says. And so treating those issues as if they're just deficits that we can fill by providing the right kind of information, I think is really missing the point. And I think that what we don't do is we don't bring people into conversation in honest ways. Part of that, I think, requires humility. We get really uppity, I think, as scientists, in ways that we're probably not even conscious of. I think we're trained to be right. We're enculturated to be assertive and confident and correct and articulate in the way we get bludgeoned to death if we're not those things. And of course, an awful lot of investment of money and time and people's energy is invested in trying to improve those skills in us. And so we feel more confident in what we say, even if we shouldn't have the basis to feel as confident as we do. And so when you have problems like this, what we think we're saying isn't what people are hearing. So I think as a bioethics community, I think we really need to be sorting out ways of trying to move past that. And I think part of that really does require some humility. It requires us to say, okay, maybe we're not right about everything. And maybe even if those guys are, let's say they're just completely wrong, and let's say that it's beyond that. Let's say that being wrong in this case is actually hazardous. We see measles outbreaks in Los Angeles, and this is not good. At a public health level, this isn't good stuff. But I think that the idea that just belittling people and making fun of them and trying to get them to read the Lancet is going to solve the problem, I think we're just missing it. So I think the bioethics community probably could be more creative in how we approach those problems. And it does, I think, a little bit, Gigi, get to the, what I was talking about before about our broker dialogue. That kind of thing is really what gave rise to some thinking about that. How do you bring kind of respect to those encounters, especially when, or where they're not happening? How do you try to create some context that you can have those exchanges? To me, that seems very bioethical. It's if we really mean respect for persons and not just respect for people who are smart enough, then I think that we got to be doing a little bit more than we're doing.